When you have all that information, one of the biggest things that we want to do, and I'm going to show you old school versus new school. So for you, we've been in business for 17 years. We used to do things a lot differently, right? So at the end of the day, I remember every single one of the biggest problems I had in my previous business is no one ever put me on a budget. So I never knew what I was spending, and I was always overspending. So there was never a budget involved. And then I could never figure out where we were going to be 12 or 24 months out, and it used to drive me crazy all the time. So just to let you know, typical companies come every single November and they do a budget. And I would sit there and say to my marketing director, Andrea, here's $1 million. Tell me what month you're going to spend every single penny. I would go to the salespeople and say, we're going to do 50 trade shows this year, right? We're going to be on the road a lot. We're going to do 13 of them in September. We're going to do 0 of them in August. We're going to pay for them in January. We're going to book the flights in June to take advantage of discounts. And you can kind of see all that accrual accounting that's going on. That tells us our estimated sales for the year. That tells me how many people that we need to hire every single month. And that tells me my net and my gross profit for the year before the year even started. This is very, very, very powerful. It's very difficult to fail if you have this information in front of you. One of the most important things that we would talk to entrepreneurs is, and our controllers, and hopefully yours is too, is to sit there before the year started and say, Dirk, what do you want this number to say? On top of the money that you draft out, I don't care, 2, 3, 4, 500 grand, what do you want this number to say also? And he might say, I want this to say $500,000. Well, that's great. So now we have a plan to work with. So now what we do is we have January's actuals, we have February's actuals. In March, we didn't do too good. We didn't sell as much as we want, or COVID hit, or something changed in the world of accounting. And then we have to reforecast out the rest of the year. And this is really key to make sure that you understand, what do we need? I can't hire 2 people in April. I can only hire 1. I can't hire the next person. I can't buy a new machine at this point. So this allows you to constantly stick to what your goal was to make sure that you have what you need at all times. Now, this is a lot of accounting, and this is not what I get involved in. But I will tell you, we have to track what? Accounts receivable. You have to track your cost of goods sold. You have to track your payroll. You have to track, 150 people that we have here, every single month somebody's getting a pay raise. Well, that changes your payroll taxes. That changes your benefits, your credit cards, your loans, your leases, all this crazy stuff that accountants are doing every single day to make sure that you know what that number is and what your budget to actual is going forward every month. You can do this for a year out, 2 years out, 3 years out. You can do it by department. So this is one of the goals that you should have in front of your face, so you always know where you're standing. This is not accounting to do a tax return, everybody on the phone. This is accounting to run your business, and there's a big difference in that statement. Hopefully everybody understands that. Nowadays, this is actually gone. We don't have to use an Excel sheet anymore. We actually have dashboards that we can use. We use one, and there's a lot of them out there on the market, but you can definitely look up this one and use it if you want to. But there's different dashboards that allow you to tell different things. And as entrepreneurs, we really like graphs and charts and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that in front of your face every single day is everything that you need to see to run the business. And these graphs and charts are completely customized to your needs, financial ratios, key margins that we have to, OPEX that we have to look at. All the stuff is, I don't know all the answers either, but every single week or month I get on the phone with our accountant and we sit there and we go through all this type of stuff. He happens to be my business partner, so it's a little easier. But we also are able to do this by department. Everybody has departments or locations, and we can start running different dashboards in NetSuite, or if we can't do it in NetSuite, we use a third-party dashboard, and then we can do forecast against actuals, and we can start doing what if scenarios. Everybody comes to us all the time. What if we add more people? What if we do this? What if we do that? And this is able to let us change it on the fly and give you what if scenarios all the time. It pulls employee counts, head counts, gross margin per employee, margins per people, OPEX, everything about your employees. We can pull out information. You can see 24 people that are going right now. Listen, having the right people, having the right process, having the right accountability over your staff will give you the right numbers to populate a dashboard. A dashboard is completely useless if your accounting is wrong. Hopefully, I don't have to say that again. Once we do that, it allows us to change the game. It allows us to sit there and say, I'll just go down to staffing, for instance, sit there and say, listen, we need to add 6 more staff than we thought. Well, what positions are they in? What's their payroll numbers, and we can add the staff, and that changes all the dashboards of what we're going to do. We have different drivers. Drivers are based on that conversation I had earlier. How many more machines do we need to be able to get the count back to 2 months instead of being 9 months out of production? And we can do all sorts of assumptions. If you bring in $1.5 million this month instead of $1 million, what's that going to do to change the path of what you're shooting for? At any time, you should know all this information. On top of that, your financial statements should be available to you at all times. I mean, they're literally sitting right here, and you should have access to everything that you need all the time. So between taking care of the people, one of the biggest problems entrepreneurs have and why they call us all the time is because there's constant turnover. They don't have the staff that can get them the information that they need. The financials are late, or there's excuses. The taxes are late, or there are excuses. Whatever the situation is, that's a staffing issue. Other people call because their business became more complex. They have an office in the UK, and there's foreign currency conversions now. They might have to have inventory in 6 states instead of 1. There's perpetual inventory. There's job costing. There's 5 entities, and you need to do funds between all the entities. All that complexity can be taken care of, but at the end of the day, what's my goal? It should be the same as your goal. Where are we going to be at the end of this year? Where are we going to be every single month? What do we need to alter and change to make that happen? And just like you, I'm running a business. I have a million things going on. You need to call me in when it's important. We get on the phone every single week. We have our call. We make decisions every single month to review the financials. It's clockwork, and that's the way it should be. And the process is really about accountability, everybody. Everybody on the phone should know what everybody is accountable for in every single business. We've all read the books. We've all got the training. We've all learned all sorts of stuff. How do you make your staff accountable? Obviously, you can do it based on all sorts of metrics that you have, from the marketing department to the sales department to the day-to-day staff that you need to do, and what their accountability is to you that makes your business successful. What does everybody need to do to make sure you hit your number is actually the end of the day. And what bonus you pay out at the end of the day will be clear as day, because everybody will hit their metrics or they won't. You can't have everybody hit your metrics, everybody's doing good, and then you don't hit your revenue goal, or you don't hit your gross profit goal. You can't do that either. And then technology there's living, breathing technology in every single industry. It's changing all the time. This just happens to be the accounting one. Every industry has things moving very, very quickly. You need to find consultants. You need to find outside parties to come in and look at your business and figure out how to automate the process as much as we can. We did take a company from 6 accounting people down to 1 person doing it about a half a day. It's unbelievable. So we didn't know what the 6 people were doing. We started interviewing, we found out. It's not all about saving money in the outsourcing world. It's about leveraging the technology so that when you go from $10 million to $20 million, there shouldn't be much more in the accounting. How much can we automate? We have some clients that have 4,000 invoices a month, you guys, that take 10 minutes to do. We have other clients that are in the government space that have 10 invoices a month that take 50 hours to do. So what's the complexity of the accounting in your business, and then how much can you automate and how much you can't?